Well, hello there. This is a bit of well, a bit of a special episode, I guess you could say. Sadly, not a great episode or a long episode. And unfortunately, we lost 3 of our players, and that right before basically the, you could say, finale of season 1 of OMAE. Which means that we will not see really what is going to happen there. However, I still would like to end the season at least by explaining what was supposed to happen. Yeah, as I said, we sadly lost 3 players. Personal reasons, they just didn't really continue with the game. So, 3 players actually, sadly, are also the 3 players that are going to be mentioned right now. It's Mojo, Prince Charming, and Practice. And the way things were planned out is that the group would enter a Renraku, I guess you could say, castle built in Manhattan. You know, prestige project. Renraku just likes to spend money. All of the 10 megacorps like to spend money, show off their power. And they would enter this particular castle, find, of course, the body of the general that was trapped, or who was trapped in the sword that Mojo is carrying with her. And they would actually also find Mojo's brother being captive there. Essentially, he was supposed to be the scapegoat for everything. And it also started with a deal between Renraku and Ares, where the general was also present. And Renraku did some shady stuff, captured the general, and didn't want things to come out, so they just trapped his mind in a sword, which the players found, and then the entire campaign happened. And the brother of Mojo was like basically just put there as a scapegoat, and he was the one that got blamed for everything. Of course, it wasn't true. There was some other shady stuff that were just some other XX wanted to have some power, some money. Politics, it's complicated. That's how Shadowrun works. I'm not getting too deep into that because I was actually hoping to do the session, and then essentially players would find more information. But that is not really that important, so I'm leaving it at that. And what was also supposed to happen right after the group found the body, I'm going to say it now like this, that indeed the run, as a GM, I'm going to decide now, the run did happen. These 3 characters, runners, did enter the Renraku facility without Veritas and Ghost. For reasons, Veritas was just busy that day, and Ghost was sick. Which technically isn't even incorrect, because the player of Cookie, the player of Ghost, Cookie, is actually quite sick with the flu, so when the run was supposed to happen, so it makes sense. There, once the 3 of them found the body and the brother, Mojo, they were of course trying to leave the castle, but on their way they would encounter a bunch of red samurai who basically waited for them and were hiding in an ambush. And then, of course, it would start a big battle, and multiple squads of red samurai, armed, you know, basically a hopeless situation. And it was planned, I talked with the player of Mojo, that Mojo would then use the Blackstone that was given to her by the adversary to summon adversary. And as I said, as the GM, I will now decide that this is going to happen. So Mojo summons the adversary. The adversary, basically price was Mojo must pay for her body. She must give adversary her body, and then adversary will walk around in Mojo's body. Meanwhile, Mojo technically should have been, or consciousness should have been uploaded to the Matrix. This is now not going to happen. Instead, adversary will also not take over the Mojo's body. Instead, he will just aid the group in getting out. To essentially take out a large amount of the Red Samurai. And on their way out, they do manage to flee with the brother and body of the general, of course. At a later point, Mojo will probably die. As this was already pre-planned that Mojo is going to die. This was discussed with the player of Mojo. Just as I said, in a different way, but Mojo will die. A price will be paid to the adversary, one that at this point will not be talked about. I guess he will draw a lot of life force from Mojo's body and thus consuming her. What happens to Practice and Charming, since I guess they were present, they were so traumatized by adversary's appearance and the way he essentially took over Mojo's body for some time while, they were fleeing, that they have decided to part ways and leave Manhattan, because clearly this is now dangerous. Once the adversary, what he did there was I guess too unspeakable for these two, and they got scared, disgusted, whatever. They do not want to come back to Manhattan again, but I guess they're alive. Mojo, clearly, as I was already said, as talked with player, is now dead. Unfortunately for her. That is, I guess, how OMAE Season 1 ends. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that these three had to leave the group. It wasn't really a decision that was easy to make, but one that sadly was made, and an unfortunate timing, I have to say. That I have to say. I was hoping to at least finish the story, but in the end, I guess it just didn't work out. So it is what it is. Yeah, that is it for OMAE Season 1. OMAE Season 2 is something I am planning to do. 2 players will return, of course, and that are the players of Iferitas and Ghost, Cookie and Andy. In fact, they would like to continue their characters, so Ghost and Iferitas will also continue to appear in Season 2. And currently I am essentially recruiting a new set of players. So there will be new characters, new players. And different story, a different one than I've originally planned. So there'll be some changes, but I hope it will be I hope for the players, I hope for you people, dear viewers. Dear viewers, are you dear to me? I'm thankful for everyone who watches this, of course. It just feels weird to say this. I never really say dear. Do I say that? I don't know. It will hopefully be an interesting story. It will be, of course, a slow start again with the new players. There will be some introductory runs, and the campaign will essentially not really start right at the beginning, but rather there will be some easier runs so that the group can find together again. And then, once things are somewhat settled, the actual main story starts again. And then Season 2 will fully start. I mean, it will start fully once we are together, but the actual story will start. There we go. Or my English isn't great. So, with that being said, please look forward to it. I know it's a bit turbulent. It's unfortunate, I guess, as well. Turbulent for me, mostly for me, because like I'm how do I fix this? And well, this is my attempt at fixing the end of OMAE Season 1. As I said, it is what it is. I wish it would have been ended differently, but well. So yeah, I hope if you guys still have questions, of course, feel free to ask them in the, what is it called? It's comments. There we go. I know this. I watch enough. Yeah, whatever. I'm a great YouTuber and then streamer, whatever. Just ask questions there if you want. And I will try to answer if there are like some additional questions about what happened with this character, is there an NPC. If I can find the time, answer it. And then Season 2 will happen. Time continues, so it is now the year 2083 in Manhattan. By the way, in the lore of Shadowrun, the Displot is currently happening. I just want to say I will not really work with that. It's essentially happening in the background. At best, I can promise, I guess, that somewhere in summer there will be a time where our mage is unable to cast things, you know, because that's this plot. It's already written. I don't really want to change stuff. I would like to use the official meta plot, so yeah, I don't know if something happens to New York. I hope it doesn't. I have not read that deeply into this plot. If there's something happening in New York, well, I'm sorry, I don't know. I didn't know. Yeah. Still, it will be only covered very lightly that this plot is happening. With that being said, thank you for watching. Thank you for coming to my streams. Good people who did. And I hope to see you soon. When episode 1 of Season 2 of OMAE Magic and Epilogue. You would think I can do this. No. When episode 1 of Season 2 of OMAE of Magic and Electronics starts. There we go. I can do this. All in one take. Right? But yeah. Thank you, everyone. See you next time. Goodbye. Oh, and please forgive me. I essentially just used the streaming overlay. I am not good at making videos. I'm so sorry, but yeah. Goodbye.